Hello, I'm Julia Cordova. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel and liking my videos. I really appreciate it. So last week was kind of crazy, I have to say. I was positioned short on Thursday night, and I'll talk about that more when I get to the NASDAQ video, but NASDAQ part of the video. But now I am not ever happy to hear any bad news. I'm really not. I'm not. Of course I'm not. I'm not a psychopath. But I expected the market to move a lot more than it did on the news that we got on Friday, which was that President Trump was positive for the COVID virus. I'm kind of shocked it didn't move more, but I will tell you that I am very grateful to have smart friends. So one friend in particular, his name is Uncle Rico on Twitter, for those of you who know him. He's kind of a big deal. Anyway, he's a smart guy. And he said to me that, news doesn't crash markets. And I'm thinking, like, I'm a retail schmoo. I don't know anything. I'm like, yeah, it does. Like, why wouldn't it? But what he said is that when you hear news, everybody knows the same news. And so hedge funds will hedge immediately upon hearing this news. And that actually, in and of itself, won't move the market down as much as if they were to cover, which I thought was just fascinating and really biased against bears. Not that I'm bearish all the time, but just that's as an interesting point of fact. And so he said, and I was like, well, what does crash it? I mean, because I have been, as some of you might know, I have been waiting for an event to come along and not crash it. I don't know, maybe. But just take it down in just more of a whoop way than we've been going. So I was like, what does crash? And he said that the only thing that would crash it. Now the market can go down on news, right? But generally speaking, it pops back up, like Brexit, like all of those things that happen. You're like, wow, that's terrible. So anyway, so I said, well, okay, fine. Liquidity crashes it. Liquidity could crash the market. What causes liquidity to lighten up? So the first and foremost thing is our friend, the Fed. That is the most important factor. The second would be 10-year rates. And the last would be the dollar going up. And as you know, the dollar at the end of my last video from last Sunday was at resistance. We'll talk about that too. Anyway, I just thought that was freaking fascinating, and I'm a little bit talking out my butt right now because I am not a fundies person, but I just wanted to share that with you because I thought it was really interesting. He actually said it, first on Twitter, like, so, a lot of times if we just follow our instincts or follow the news, we're wrong a lot. And so I just have to keep reminding myself not to actually think too much, a little bit, not too much, but just to look at my lines, look at my charts, try to watch sentiment, and go from there. Now, I will say also, since I'm talking, that the sentiment that I saw on Twitter on Friday morning, and I said it too, I was like, what is going on here? Twitter in general is just a very negative, not always negative, but there's a lot of negativity or stuff that happens. And I was just seeing people like, it's okay, it'll be fine. And then another question is, the market didn't really go down that much on Friday. It looks like a normal candle. I'll talk about that too. But who bought the dip? Was it retail? Are we smart? I don't know. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm still a little bit short. NASDAQ. But anyway, let's talk charts. It's fascinating. All right. Okay. Okay, first let's start off by looking at ES Weekly. I gotta hurry. Oh, it should be moving here already. Oh, it's after 6. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes these crap charts don't move when I'm looking at the weekly. I don't know. Anyway, last week, so we did have, this is not what I would call an official gap. This is sort of, I kind of want to check my futures position. Okay, I'm going to be good. I'll be good. Okay. This is not what I would call an official gap. But it is just when the wicks overlap, and price does have a tendency to try and move back and forth inside of these non-official gaps. So, you know, it's kind of, from a bearish perspective, it's kind of like, good, we crossed that off of our list. Now it looks like it's going up because I remember it was here. So, all right, that's good. Not for me, but okay. Okay, anyway, so the body of last week's candle, and now maybe I should try to refresh it to see if it, I can't hit actually refresh. There we go. So the body of last week's candle was just under here. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a candle body for next week still in here. Now, then I started looking and I was like, well, this is just a wick overlap too. Where is this? 3262. Okay. And then here too. So it's kind of inexact and whatever. This is the one I want it to go to, which is the, well, I mean, 3180. And as you know, there's an hourly gap at 3184 that is yet to be filled. So we'll see. Anyway, looks like we've got a bullish start to the week. We bounced off, almost off of this resistance here. We're still under the ambulance line. I don't know where the ambulance line will line up, but we're kind of in the middle, excuse me, of nowhere in regards to our pivots. So we'll have to see how that shapes up. Okay, let's look at daily or not. You can always just look at a white screen together and sing songs while it's loading. Oh my goodness. I don't know why it's doing that. So irritating, and I don't have the video editing skills to actually worry about this. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to NASDAQ. NASDAQ loaded. Well, yeah, and looks like it was a gap up there to start the day. That's nice. All right. Anyway, we didn't quite get to my algo line end of day on Friday. It looks so far what's happened today, which is Sunday night / Monday, is it started with a gap up and then it's sort of going down from there. As of this time, it's 4 minutes in. It's 4 minutes in. It means nothing. But anyway, and from, I should say, I posted on Twitter that if it closed above this yellow dash line, that I would close out my shorts. And I decided not to do that, actually, when it happened. And I'm not, you know, it was just right above it where it closed. And I just had felt like, and I didn't draw it in here yet because I don't like to, it's almost like superstition. I don't know, a little bit. But do you see how this yellow dash line could be an inverse head and shoulders? Do you see how this could be a shoulder, a head, and then potentially another shoulder? That's what I was gearing up for. Now, a lot of times when you have a bias like that, it can really mess you up. So, you know, I was planning on like that if it got too far above this level, because that typically doesn't happen, I would just cover and take a loss, right? Whatever. It's okay to take a loss. It's fine to take a loss. But anyway, I do want it to get closer to this yellow dash lines in the bottom, sort of fill that out, and then it may not do a head and shoulders. It may not, but I just would certainly like to see it there before I make any decisions about what it's going to do next. Of course, I would like it to visit the gift line, but you know, if it hit the gift line this week, which who knows whether it will or not, I don't know. Doesn't look likely. I don't know, but it might. Anyway, that would be a triple bottom if it comes down here again. So then I would look for the opportunity to actually short it if it got higher, because there's no such thing as a triple bottom. Just support and resistance if it's triple anything. Just my opinion. I don't know. And then other smart people were saying, well, this is not a head and shoulders because a head and shoulders is a bottoming pattern. And I don't know. You know what? Again, I'm just going off my own experience. I'm a retail shmoo. What do I know? I don't know anything. I'm just telling you what I think. And I'm going through my thought process. And if I can be helpful, great. But I don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, so these are the pivots I'm watching for tomorrow. I will tell you a close below 11198.76 should possibly, if it's not just an inside candle tomorrow, it should possibly open up to more bearishness, especially at close below there. At least down to this dash line, but we shall see. It might just screw around here for a little bit. All right. Now let's look at Dixie. So I had said last week that I thought it would snog, but I was incorrect. It hit it and quit it so far. And of course, when I do, and when I am wrong like that, I did say that if it did bounce down, that I think it's going to come back up here. And I do. I do. But my friend, Uncle Rico, also said that the dollar would have to go up very significantly for it to have really an impact on liquidity. It's just the thing that it does. So I just wanted to point out that I was incorrect about my snogging, and that we're sort of in the middle of nowhere RSI wise. It's being supported by some friendly MAs. This one looks to be flattening. This one looks to be curved up, and then the lower time frame one, the 9, is looking to curl down a little bit at this time. But so I still think it'll come back up and touch this. Let's mark it over here just in case. Let's see. 1, 2. I'll put it a little bit closer. Again, I never know. You know, I watch these lines continuously. I never know how people mark them off. I just kind of try and look at the curvature and see. But anyway, if it gets close to there, I will post it. Or if it gets close to here, I will post it on Twitter and figure out what's going to happen from there. Okay, let's talk about gold. So I was looking last week. I was like, wow, I freaking nailed that close of the weekly candle. But of course, I wasn't trading it, so it didn't matter. And I also didn't mark it on my chart. Because I'm a jerk, y'all. I'm a jerk. Well, anyway, so this week, for it to continue, and if this is actually, I mean, this looks bull flaggy to me, to be frank with you. It didn't before, and now it's kind of getting that look. So I will say that, you know, this pink line is important. It was sort of the, you know, the flaggy line, if you will. And so if it goes back to test 1886.9, I would very much like it to hold there. I don't want it to get down to this 20 MA because I wouldn't like that, because then it's going to go further down. Actually, I would like it because I'd like to buy silver on a dip. But anyway, what I'm saying is if I were bullish, I wouldn't want it to come back and touch this 20 MA again. It's already touched it. The candle held above it. Another touch. It could still be bullish, but I just don't like it as much, objectively speaking. That's my opinion. Okay, so I have a gold chart twice. That's nice. Okay, and silver. We got a bounce right off of the pink line 2 weeks ago. We have like a little bit of a rally happening from last week. It closed right at this line that a very smart person told me to extend last week, so right at resistance. And so this week is the important week. This to me is not a convincing bounce. I mean, I think silver should be a little more twitchy than gold. If I'm looking at both of them, I expect silver to be twitchy, more twitchy. And right now it's just, okay, bounce more. I don't know. I would expect it, because it had such a big decline here. I would expect that if it were to go right back up, that we'd see boom action, but it could be slow movement. Anyway, what I'm watching for next week is on the bottom side, 22.755. And it's again lined up with this 20 MA. I wouldn't expect it if it did hit to, I mean, maybe initially to hold, but I'm still looking for that dip. I could be wrong. I hope that if you're following along here, that you bought when it got to this pink line. I mean, it was definitely a great scalp opportunity, if nothing else. But I still did not rebuy it yet. Do I care? Yes, of course, because I'd like to get the lowest price possible. But on the other hand, I sold like way up here, so I feel like I have a little bit of wiggle room to give myself before I smack myself for not buying it earlier. Okay, let's talk about Joe coffee. I did take a stab at coffee last week, even though it got to a lower low than the week before, and then it whirred on me, and that didn't make me happy. But you know, the close actually is okay. This would be a trash zone if it can't get. It really needs to get back above the 20 weekly MA this week. I don't have a line there, but I'll just tell you what it is ish right now, and that it moves, but 33.71 approximately. I mean, maybe I'll post a chart tomorrow on Twitter so you can see it, but approximately. And I'm not getting any clues from the RSI, but I still very much like it longer term. You can see here potentially, I drew it out on Twitter that, again, and this is also one of those things that, is it an H&S? I don't know. It better be, because otherwise it honestly would be bearish AF. So it really needs to, it can dawdle around here for a little bit, but it needs to try and get back a close back above this 20 MA. And then then I'm going to really like it again. I might try to add more scales to it. Okay, so quickly let's look at oil. I mean, that was some bearish activity last week, right? On a weekly basis. And, you know, I'm going to say the trade, I'm not in a trade here right now, but I'm going to say here, anything below this previous candle low, which I'm going to give you the exact value, 36.13, bearish AF. See this cross thing about to happen? Maybe, unless it shoots back up, it could. Yeah, if it gets back below there, I'm going to look at a short, potentially, or if it crosses above here, which is 39.75-ish, that would be nice. I mean, really, there's a lot of space here, right? So if you wanted to wait to confirm the trade, I would look at 42.16 or so. And I think the next time it crosses, if it does cross, will be quite bullish. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And I think that's it, because I just had gold up here a bunch of times. I don't know why. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing trading week. Thank you so much again for subscribing and liking my video. Oh, I gotta make myself big. Sorry. I need wine, y'all. I need wine. Anyway, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you around the interwebs. Okay, bye.